Hello everyone, Happy New Year! So I thought I would show you the recipe that I make on New Year's Day, and I've been doing this for many years. This was what my German aunt would make every New Year's Day, and that was just something I grew up with. And my mom actually used to make, I think, corned beef and cabbage, but I was always making what my aunt was making. And it's just like a potato stew, basically. I've got russet potatoes here, but you could use like any kind of potatoes, and there's 3 pounds of those. And this is Polska kielbasa, or Polish sausage, and I get the kind that is doesn't have any of the normal preservatives in it and everything. And I use 2 of these packages, so that's 14 ounces each, almost a pound each, so it's almost 2 pounds of that. It's quite a bit of sausage, but this actually lasts a really long time. We have leftovers all week. And then I use a jar of organic sauerkraut, and that's a 2-pound jar, 32 ounces. And then I put onion in it, and chopped garlic, and the spices. The main spice is caraway seed. That's what my aunt always used, and this is basically, you know, for prosperity and good luck and good health and all that kind of stuff. And I can't remember if she used bay leaves or not, but I put bay leaves in all my stews. And I've just got white pepper here and some all-purpose seasoning. It's really very simple, but it's really good. And this is the first time that I'm going to attempt using my Magma pot here. It's a lot, not a lot smaller, but it's like, I don't know, 2 quarts smaller than the one I have in the house that I normally make it in. And I have a sinking suspicion that it might not work in there. I guess I'll find out, but if it does work, it'll probably be almost all the way to the top. So I just have to peel these potatoes and chop them up, and I'm just going to use just enough water to cover these, you know, just a little bit more, and it'll be enough. You know, I'm just going to use just enough to cook them in, and that way I won't have to drain any of the water out of there. So hold on, I'll get back to you. Okay, so in the interest of making this like I was a nomad, which means limited water, I'm going to rinse these differently. Like normally I would just run these under running water to get all the dirt off and everything, because I didn't wash them beforehand, so they're dirty now. But I'm not going to have like running water on the road, and so I'm going to try it differently. I think I'm just going to try to use my spray bottle. This is clean reverse osmosis water. And I think I'm just going to set them in the colander one at a time and spray them and see if that does it. I don't know. I've never tried to do this before. I don't think that's a good enough stream of water. I don't think I like that. The other alternative I have is to just pour a little bit of water over them, and I'm just collecting them here. This is what I'm going to drain the sauerkraut with, so hold on. Okay, well that ended up working better with the spray bottle. It worked okay with this, but I felt like I was using too much water. You know, I know it went by pretty fast on the time lapse, so you probably couldn't tell, but I felt like that was using too much water, and so I just went ahead and used my spray bottle here, and then I put them in the pan just so I wouldn't have to put them back on that cutting board, because the cutting board was dirty. What I didn't show you was I just wiped that off. I just got all that dirt off of there and everything. So I'm just going to cut these up and put them in there, and then I'll add the water on top of it instead of doing it the other way around. So hold on. Okay, well, like I thought, it's going to be a tight squeeze. I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull this off with this Magma pan, but I'm going to try. And so I'm just going to add water, just enough to cover. And I just wanted to show you, this was all the water that I used to rinse the potatoes. That's it. And then I also use, look how gross it is. And then I also used that water. It wasn't that gross until I actually cleaned this. I don't know if you could see that on the time lapse, but I put that in there and swished it around and cleaned it real well and wiped it off with paper towel. Good as new. And that's what I did with my little paring knife too, that I cut the bad parts out with. I just swished it around in that water and wiped it down. And for that knife, I didn't show it, but I just sprayed it with my bottle, my water bottle, and got it all off and wiped it down with a clean paper towel. In this same way, I just banged off the dirt into the, because there was just like a little bit of dirt in there and it was wet, so I just banged it off and dried it off. And so far, none of this has been running water, no running water used. So I'm just gonna, sorry, I'm out of breath now. I'm just gonna add enough water to cover this. And I'm just going to cook them about halfway, and then I'm going to add the sauerkraut and the sausage. So I don't want to cook these until they're all the way tender, because I actually like to keep cooking it even longer. Once I add the sauerkraut and the sausage, I like to cook it for a little while longer with the spices and everything. My battery's getting ready to die, so I will just put that on 2.5 or 3 and cook it for a while with the lid on, and I will get back to you when it's about halfway done and after I've changed my battery. Hold on. Alright, so I put a new battery in, and I just wanted to show you guys here real quick that I did add a little bit more water, just a little bit more, so you can see it's just, I don't know, a ½ inch above the potatoes. And I'm going to add salt, but I don't want to stir it in yet because the water isn't hot enough right now. And I just use white sea salt. This is like a inland sea or something like that. But I don't want that to go down there and pit my cookware, and so I'm not going to stir it in. I'm just going to let it sit there on top. Maybe a little bit more. And again, I'm not going to drain the water, so this salt will stay in there and I won't have to season it as much at the end. I probably still will have to add more, but it shouldn't be too much more. And I just let the salt get off into the water there, but I'm not stirring that. And so this will probably take, 20 minutes or so. That was room temperature water. And I'll probably end up having to set it like that, because if I don't, it'll become like Mount Vesuvius in there, And so I almost always cock it just a little bit, just so that it's got some venting. Sorry if you can hear the rain on the roof. This is our New Year's Day here in Indiana this year. I'm just glad it's not snowing or sleeting or freezing or anything like that. Alright, I'll see you in a bit. Alright, so it has been actually about a half an hour, and I soon realized that I had to turn this up on 5, and for a little while I actually even had it up on max. And so it did end up cooking for about 20 minutes, but I had to turn that up. I'm still, again, experimenting with this infrared burner, and just to get it up to boil. Now I know, you know, if I have a full pot of potatoes here, I have to turn it all the way up. And again, I don't want them to be all the way done, but I do want to be able to put a knife through them, and I can, but there was some resistance. So now I know that now I need to start cutting up the sausage and everything. And honestly, I think I might have used too much water. And this is what I do every year. To be honest, you know, I don't think I'm gonna have enough water. I add a little bit more, and then sometimes I have to take some away. But you know, whatever. It's not too much more, and I can just sit here or stand here, whatever I'm standing, and let that water boil off a little bit. And then I'm gonna drain this, because I do like sauerkraut, but it's pretty sour sometimes, and you know, if there's a lot of liquid in the jar, I just go ahead and I drain it off. And I'm using the same strainer that I had and the same thing. I've cleaned them all out and I've wiped them all out. Still no running water. I still haven't used any running water. This is the knife set that I'm going to be bringing with me on the road. That's the chef knife that I used, and that's the paring knife. And then it has one serrated knife, and that's what I'm going to use to cut the sausage. And even though this is fully cooked, I still use my red cutting mat, red being used for raw meats and stuff. So even though that's not red, I'm still going to cut it on that cutting board. And then I will add my spices and everything, and we'll be good to go. And it'll cook for probably, you know, 10 to 15 more minutes after that. So I will see you then. Hold on. Alright, you guys, I don't know if this is gonna work. I just added that sausage, and look where we are right now. I have not even added the sauerkraut, which is being drained right now. I don't know if you could see my struggle during that time lapse, but sometimes with the sauerkraut, and this is pretty much one of the only products that I have this problem with, even banging it on the side with the back side of a knife, bang it around the edges, that normally will release these lids, but for some reason with sauerkraut that doesn't always work. So I literally had to stab a hole into it, and then it released really easily after that. But I'm getting kind of nervous because this pan is almost full, so I don't know if this is gonna work or not. I mean, I don't know who I would make this for in the future. I mean, I guess if I was at a gathering, a New Year's gathering. But for the most part, I would never just make this for myself, because there's enough to feed an army here. And I'm not kidding. I'm almost afraid to add the onions. Oh boy. Oh no, you guys. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Okay. Well, if I wanted to make it on the road, maybe I could make it in batches, or I could try to cut it in half. Oh no. Oh. This is not looking good, you guys. So that's about one large onion. This is actually 2 small onions, but that's all I had. So that would equal 1 large onion. Oh boy. Oh. Oh. I don't know about this. And then I'm just using organic jarred garlic, because I'm lazy like that. I'm just going to strain off some of the juice. Just a couple big teaspoons, I guess. and then I push the garlic back down into the juice. This keeps in the refrigerator for a really, really long time. As long as you keep that garlic down in the juice, you'll be fine. And then I don't really measure the caraway seed. I get my caraway seed from Mountain Rose Herbs. I don't really measure it. I just kind of do it until it looks good. It's probably about a teaspoon. I'm going to say a half teaspoon to a teaspoon. Again, I don't really measure. And the reason why I like to let this cook longer with the seasonings and everything is because the caraway seed is dry and it needs time to rehydrate. Oh wow, you guys. Oh no, 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 no. I know. I don't know if this is gonna work. Oh no. I'll show you here in a minute. But I'm just gonna put some all-purpose seasoning in here. Again, I'm not measuring, I'm just sprinkling it on top till there's like an even layer of it on top. And I've got white pepper here. And I don't use a ton of white pepper because, you know, not everybody likes it hot. But inevitably, it almost always still needs pepper at the end. Okay, let me show you. Oh wow, look at that. Look, hello, all the way to the top. I'm being very, very, very careful here. Oh no. I'm gonna make a mess. I already know this. I already know. And see, I'm not gonna be able to let it cook for too much longer. Like normally in the kitchen, in the bigger pot, I would have more room. So that was about enough water for the potatoes. It's actually just, it doesn't even feel like it's going to be enough, but I don't have room in this pot to add any more liquid. Like, look at this. Oh, this is dangerously close to being overrun. Oh no. And yes, it's still raining if you can't tell. If you can't hear that. And if I needed to add any more liquid, which I almost feel like I want to, add a little bit more. Instead of that liquid, like, I don't know if you can tell or not, but there's quite a bit in there. But instead of it being really, really sour, because I'm not a fan of really sour stuff, I'm just going to take some of my drinking water. Oh man. Oh, now I'm worried. Now I'm worried. Oh geez. I think I'm gonna make a mess tonight. But now I will turn it down to about 3.5. Because it still has to heat through, so I don't want to turn it down too far, but I don't want this to start boiling or anything. I just want these flavors to meld and get all cozy with each other. Yeah, I think that's it. And then right after I'm done adding all the other seasonings, I'm not going to add salt yet. Sorry, I'm getting a text. I'm not going to add salt yet because I want everything else to marry together, and then right before I serve it, I'll see if it needs more salt. But right now is when I'm going to add my bay leaves, because I don't want to stir it after that, because these are really dry and brittle and I don't want to break them, and so I'm just going to push them down into the liquid, and then they will sit there and rehydrate and become more pliable so that they're not going to break up really easily. Wow, look at that. I can't fit any more in there, you guys. I'm just pushing him down, back down in there. He wants to come up, but I'm gonna keep pushing him down. This is a nice bamboo spoon I found online. I'm not even sure if I want to have the lid on, but I think I'm just gonna do it again, just for a little bit, because I want to turn this down. Look at that. Look at the mess I've made already. Oh no. I know. Alright, well. That's nice. I can do it. I can do it. It's fine. Everything's fine. Oh. Yeah, everything's fine. Thank goodness it's only once a year, you know what I mean? Yeah. Alright. See you in a bit. Alright, so it's been about half an hour, and once again I have greatly underestimated this induction. Well, it's not induction, it's a far infrared burner, and I had to turn it up to about 4.5, and I did leave the lid on there. There's just so much food in here that it's really not doing anything very quickly. And the reason why I'm having a hard time adjusting to this is because my cast iron behaves a little bit differently. It gets hot and it stays hot very quickly. And I've made 2 huge messes while trying to stir this. And so now the only thing I can do, sorry about that, the only thing I can do right now is just stir the middle very, very, very gently. Because when I try to do too much else, I slop it over the side. So I am really, really pushing the boundaries of this pot right now. But everything is heated through. And like if somebody wanted to eat right now, I could definitely serve it up right now. Because the sausage is heated through, the sauerkraut is heated through, the caraway seeds have been rehydrated. But nobody is asking to eat dinner right now. So I can let this cook a little bit longer. I always like to cook it as long as I can without making it too mushy. But one of the reasons why I like to make it with the russet potatoes is because they will break down faster and quicker. They're more starchy than like the red potatoes or the yellow potatoes. And so if I did add a little bit too much water, when these cook and they break down, they will help thicken it. And so I don't have to worry about it being too soupy or anything, because I'm not trying to make a soup, I'm trying to make a stew here. And this is the consistency of a stew. There's just barely any water in there. So, oh God, did you see that? Oh my God. You guys, I just don't know if I can do this. Oh, and this is a 5-quart pot. I looked up my purchase on Amazon. This is 5 quarts, so I'm thinking the one that I have in the house is it's a 7-quart, because I always have at least 2 inches of headspace. And now I have to clean up after myself. I've had to do this 3 times already. So this is not ideal for this amount of food, but it's working, I guess. As long as I'm not worried about making a mess. So that's it, you guys. I hope you try it sometime. It's really, really good. And again, this is a German New Year's Day tradition in some parts of Germany. You know, they all have their different preferences. When you go to Germany, you will find a bunch of different variations, let's put it that way, because there's a bunch of different areas of Germany. So, but that's what I do on New Year's Day, and I hope this is a beautiful new year for us all, and we can get past all the nasty stuff that's been going on, and I will see you again in another video. Love you. Bye.